Maritime Made on Eastlink is presented by Nova Scotia Business Inc., working with companies across Nova Scotia to be more successful exporters every step of the way.
When people think of Canada, maple syrup is probably one of the first things that comes to mind, and perhaps the most delicious. And Hutchinson Maple Products is one of the largest producers in the province.
We are the largest certified organic maple syrup producer in Nova Scotia. So we produce on 60,000 maple trees, and we produce about 75,000 liters of maple syrup every year. So we started about 10 years ago, a little bit small, and we've grown every year since. So our first year we produced 13 barrels, and our best year we've produced over 600 barrels. So every year it's a little bit different. Of course, we're dedicated to Mother Nature, so whatever Mother Nature decides is what we get for the year. And we've been doing it together for the last 10 years.
Maple syrup comes from the sap of maple trees. Each spring, as the ground and trees start to thaw, the sap flows from the roots to the branches, slowly feeding the emerging leaf buds. Before the buds arrive, the sap can be harvested from the trees to produce sweet-tasting syrup. Each maple tree is tapped each spring by drilling a small hole in the tree and inserting a small plastic tap. Most trees only have one tap per season. The tap is connected to a rubber hose, which is in turn connected to a larger series of hoses. This web or network of piping collects the sap from all the tapped trees. In total, Hutchinson Maple Products has over 400 miles of piping and over almost 900 acres of well-managed maple forests. Suction pumps are used to suck the sap to various pumping stations throughout the property. Wireless monitoring systems are used to monitor the piping to ensure that the sap is flowing properly throughout the forest. Each pumping station has a storage tank to temporarily store the day's sap. From the pumping stations, the sap is sucked by another vacuum to the sugar shack. This is where the sap will be turned into sweet, delicious maple syrup. Once the buds appear on the tree, the sap will lose its taste quality and the syrup season will come to an end.
We love nature, we love the outdoors, and we love to see the trees grow. There is nothing more beautiful than taking a walk through a maple sugar bush at any time of the year. Winter, summer, fall, spring. Spring is, of course, when everything is happening and the trees are producing, they're in their glory. But then, of course, they change to the leaves coming out, and then you have this gorgeous ferns on the ground here. This maintains the land. We do sustainable forestry. We want to keep these forests growing. We have to do a little bit of undercutting. We may have to take out the odd tree here and there to keep the tree growth, to keep the canopy in the trees. That's our biggest thing, and this is so much better than cutting the trees down. And you know what? You get 1 year, okay, you cut them down, you get the logs, and that's the end. With this, we can maintain this that we have around us for hundreds and hundreds of years just by maintaining the forest in the proper way.
At the sugar shack, the vacuum system pumps the sap into the releaser. Here, the sap is released from the vacuum system into a series of large tanks. 20,000 gallons of sap can be stored at any one time. Unlike the final syrup, sap can spoil quite quickly and must be processed each day. From the storage tanks, the sap is pumped through 2 reverse osmosis or RO machines. The job of each machine is to remove water from the sap. Maple sap is 80% water with a rather low percentage of sugar. Measured in bricks, the goal is to increase the sugar content of the final product to a total of 66% bricks. Bricks tests are done regularly to ensure the RO machines are doing their job. The water that's removed at this stage is 100% pure H2O. It's stored and used later for cleanup of the sugar shack. The remaining sap is now ready to be sent to the boiler. The boiler is a giant machine that heats the sap to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. As the sap moves through the various sections of the boiler, the remaining water is slowly released as steam. The final result is a dark, delicious maple syrup. A light test is performed regularly in order to grade each batch of syrup based on color. The darker the syrup, the sweeter it is. From the boiler, the syrup is pumped into 150-liter barrels and stored until needed. At the end of each season, The sugar shack is thoroughly cleaned and all 60,000 taps are removed from the maple trees. The holes left behind will quickly heal themselves.
Agri-food in Nova Scotia is so important. We really need to support our farmers, our producers, our manufacturers here in Nova Scotia. A lot of what we sell right here in Nova Scotia. And the buy local movement is really large here, but people also want to understand where their food comes from. That's really important to know that this bottle of maple syrup that's in front of you was actually grown and produced here. And that we can do that with everything that we have here. We really can be very sustainable in our own province. We have all the tools to do that. And it's really important that we support all of those different industries, the farmers to the beekeepers to the maple syrup industry. We need to really support that.
Hutchinson Maple Products ship their maple syrup all over the world in many different containers. Here, staff are preparing to fill 1-liter plastic containers. Today, about 400 liters of syrup will be processed. First, the syrup is pumped from the storage barrel through a series of filters and into a kettle. The kettle will heat the syrup to 180 degrees Fahrenheit before it's bottled. Once heated, the syrup is transferred to the bottling machine. Using a foot pedal, the worker uses gravity to fill 4 bottles at a time. Another worker screws on the caps, and a third worker heats each cap in order to engage a foil seal on the bottle. Once boxed, the syrup is ready to be sent to the shipping area. Here, the shipper carefully manages inventory and prepares the product and all documents for shipping to the clients. Hutchinson Maple Products is not only a thriving export business, but is also a destination for local tourists, providing an on-site store as well as a new coffee shop featuring maple syrup-inspired beverages.
NSBI has been a great asset to us. Every single year I use them for programs, I use them for advice. They ask me for help in different respects, like talking to other customers and going to them and telling them how successful we've been and how we have done that. If I can help any other customers through them, that's exactly what we do. Their programs are amazing. They're very good at supporting what's happening here in Nova Scotia. The future, I'm hoping the future is bright. We need more land. We're pretty tapped out right here, so we need more land to grow on. My exports are growing all the time. I'm continually getting more calls for new exports coming to send product to other countries, but I need more product to do that. So our future plans are to get more land. We definitely need more land to grow on. There's lots of crown land around us, so we just are trying to get that. To make more sustainable forestry. Our biggest goal is to just keep maintaining the lands that are around us and to support the industries that are here.